This is the Senior and Disabled Tax Relief Subcommittee of the RTM on September 11th, 2024. And I'm going to call the meeting to order at 7:46 p.m. And I just wanted to start off by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives, not only on September 11th, 2001, but also those who lost their lives as a result of their service from all of the, toxic stuff that was at Ground Zero. There are many people, first responders, who've lost their lives since then. So a moment of silence for everybody affected and their families. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to take the roll. Crochet. Here. Christine Levezak. Here. Dave Rock.
Here.
Mark McDermott.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, so the first item, I just want to remind everybody that this is a special meeting, and the reason why we had to call the special meeting is because there's a meeting of the Board of Finance next Tuesday, September 17th, and so we needed a vote on our items before that, and our regularly scheduled meeting, which was September 18th, is canceled because the timing just didn't work out. So thank you for being flexible about that. And so the first order of business is to vote on the minutes of the August 21st, 2024 meeting. Can I have a motion to approve?
I will make that motion.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I'm hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item passes unanimously. Okay, and then the next item, hold on, I don't have the agenda open. I'm doing it by memory. Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so the three things that we were going to vote on and discuss, we don't have them as separate items, but I think we can discuss them and then make a motion. So the amendments that there were three things that we had discussed in terms of changes. One of them was to lower the age to 65 for the deferral program, because that's what all the other towns are doing. And we are all in agreement on that, correct?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, and then the second thing, which I think we're all in agreement on, is to eliminate the freeze program, because no one's using it.
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the only other thing we were going to do is the QTAV is at $650,000, and we were going to make a proposal to increase it. And the last increase that was proposed that did not pass was made in 2017, and it was moving it from 650 to 682.5. Right. So we were going to suggest, I think Dave, you had done the math on that, and it was an increase of like 5% a year. And so you pushed that forward and it came into the sevens.
Right. It came out to 752,456. But I think the suggestion is to just round it to 750. So it would be an increase of exactly 100.
Okay, and that's moving it from 2012. And we don't even know, it could have been prior to 2012, but Ross said that the earliest that he could find record of it was 2012, correct?
Right. Correct.
To 2024, so that's 12 years.
hmm
We don't have that tied to anything, but do you think we need to tie it to something?
Well, what was the math? 9 people were kicked out because they were above the 650, right?
Yeah,
That number's going to just keep on growing if we keep it at 650, and the 5% every 1, 2, 3, 4 years seems like a pretty average lift to QTAV. And that it sounds like a lot of money, but really $100,000 from 2012 to 2025. That's what, 12 years,
yeah,
an increase of $100,000 over 12 years.
it's not much.
It's not much. It's pretty modest.
Do we know why it was not moved forward back in 2017? Do we know why the Board of Finance? Like, I know we had chatted like briefly.
Yeah, I didn't get that information. I think I was supposed to get it and I didn't.
Okay, yeah, well, I feel like it's very reasonable, like you said, like I can't imagine, unless there was something specific that they had wanted to address back in 2017 for that change, but I agree, I think 100,000 is very conservative for that timeline.
So I'm looking on Investopedia. So if you were to just invest in the S&P 500, so your assets would include like, your brokerage accounts, right? And so if you're to invest in the S&P 500, the index has returned a historic annualized average return of around 10% a year since 1957 through 2023. So I think 5% is conservative.
Christine, just to clarify, Board of Finance never voted on this. It was never made it out of the RTM L&A committee.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Mark. Thank you.
Okay. So I don't recall the circumstances or why it never made it out of that meeting. I wasn't at it.
Okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, and also note that it's not 5% every year, it's 5% every 4 years. So that slows down that 5% to, 1.1 or 1.125 or something like that a year, which really is not, that's even below COLA, that's below everything. So, I mean, you can make an argument for a number that's much higher.
Yeah.
Well, I just read an article that they're thinking COLA for next year, I believe it was, is going to land in the 2.5%,
Yeah.
between 2 and 3 somewhere.
Yep.
I think 5% might be a lot every 4 years, but
Might be what?
might be a lot.
Mm.
And you're going to need some reasoning as to why.
If it was,
That's 37. Say you got to 750. That's 37,500 for the first set of 4 years.
why are we breaking it out into 4? Is that typical?
No, it just mirrors the data that we have. The only data that we really have is 2012 at
Oh,
650 and then 2017 at 682 500. So if you sort of extrapolate that forward in 2021, it should have been 716,625. And then if you extrapolate that another 4 years out, it's 2025, and then it's 752, 456. So it's just doing the math. And I'm not saying my math is right. I'm just like,
I don't know.
I'm just trying to do the pattern, and
But even if you used a COLA adjustment, which would be really low,
I was gonna say,
because really it should be tied to what we think their assets are, right? And if their assets are typically, it's like, I'd love to tie it to a mutual fund or something, but
Yeah. I don't think these guys are in the market. I mean, if you know, want to look at it that way, but
Even if we like did,
What about,
4% every year.
what about social security? There's a, an annual adjustment on for social security. That's
that
usually
would make more sense, Chris, I think.
pretty modest and seems to, there's a lot of really smart people that are figuring that out, and we don't need to be as smart as them. We could just copy what they're doing.
yeah, so Mark, what you said, so we could use 2.5%, even if we use 2.5% a year, 650 to 750, that only takes you 6 years when you compound it to get to 750.
Yeah, so Social Security is anywhere from 2.75 to 2.8. That's the average over the last 10 years. And COLA is about 2.8 for the last decade. So they're almost similar.
I mean, but I mean, this is more, I mean, it might be closer to social security just because we're dealing with folks who are, kind of using that.
Well, everyone is over 65.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so that would be a gauge. So even if we did like a 3% or a 2.5%, from the 650, right? What would, if we did it annually? I don't have a spreadsheet in front of me, but I wonder if that would,
Well, so for annually, the first year would be 666,250. The second year would be 682,906. The third year would be 699,979. Could you keep
yeah,
building on
let's
it?
get us some. Yeah, so if
I
that's
mean,
gonna be,
here's like,
let's say.
since 1975,
The
the Social
average.
Security Administration has made an annual cost of living adjustment to account for changes in inflation. And 2024 is 3.2. But, I mean, you could get it.
I thought that would be a good way to base our recommendation.
People are looking for, why are we coming? What's our reasoning behind, or what's our formula for this increase? If we peg it to that Social Security increase,
Mhm.
it just allows for it to kind of automatically happen each year until it's changed, by the town, but at least it's already baked, it's baked in.
I agree with that.
Okay. So, Mark, I found what you're saying, that it's 2.5 for 2025.
Yeah. I read somewhere today, it was, they feel it's gonna land in the mid two, so.
I got it in, I got it on CBS News Money Watch.
Yeah, it said something about social security tied to coal or something, I forget, but it was in the mid twos where they think it's gonna land.
2025 Social Security COLA increase may hit a low despite inflation. This is from 4 hours ago. Payments will increase only 2.5% next year.
Even
Yeah.
if we base it on the prior calendar year, right? Like since that's not established yet, we don't have to put that in our recommendation, right? So we could base it on, because we still have 12 years to
I know that we
play
haven't-
catch up with.
Right.
And maybe the town only makes an adjustment every 3 years or something. And, it doesn't have to be something that they necessarily are adjusting every year. It could be every 5 years or something, but at least we have that basis for the last, 12 years to be putting that number forward.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to use 2.5, even from, the 650 back in 2012, you're looking at a 2025 number of 896, which is well above the 750. So
Oh, wow.
Yes, good when you
because
come.
you're doing it every year, you're compounding it every year.
I couldn't visualize that. I need the spreadsheet. Good job, Sarah. Good job. Yeah, okay. So then 750 would be really conservative.
I wish,
Very.
I gotta figure out how to share screens, but I'll put this in the backup public.
Oh, wow.
But see, like, if you just say it's gonna go up 2.5% a year, then the first year it's 666, the second year it's 682, the third year it's 699, the fourth year it's
Right.
717.
And that's 2.5%
Yeah.
each year? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Right, yep, yep, awesome. Okay,
So,
I feel like that's, even though that makes sense, I feel like that's quite a jump. So I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Because then you said 850, 8 something?
well, how many years would we want to adjust?
Well, it's been 12 years,
Right, oh, yeah,
right? So,
so if we did 12 years, right, that's what Dave said, it would be in the eights, right?
Yeah. Almost a 9.
and I feel like we don't have to necessarily push it that way. So then maybe we think about our rationale differently. But that actually makes a lot of sense that it would be something
Yeah,
that should
12
get
years,
adjusted.
874, is that what you get, Dave?
I get 896
Are you
for
using?
2025. You got 874 for 2024.
Yeah,
But really, we're implementing this, what?
so that'd be year 13.
Yeah, that'd be year 13.
Yeah, 896, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it completely correlates, it's hard to find a correlation. I do like how Chris was coming at it. I like COLA. I just don't know, if it's fair to really say that somebody's assets should increase, we should have an allowance for an increase of 2.5, minus their main house, it's not really tied to the stock market. It's not really, it's sort of this unicorn
Yeah.
that we're trying to,
Yeah,
But
put some logic to.
this is,
And,
this is to make more people, keep them eligible.
Yeah, meet the threshold.
It's to help them.
And again,
Yeah.
it's for that deferral, so it's not, the town will see it, whether after a sale or death, right? So
Mm.
it's not lost like a credit would be, right? So we're opening up that pool of those who would qualify, who would be in need. And if they're not in need, they don't want to take advantage of it because that's just compounding on their end, right? So I do feel like that's maybe on the higher side of the surrounding towns we've seen though, right, with that dollar amount.
no,
The QTAV applies to all the programs.
Oh,
So it's not just specific to deferral.
Deferral only.
The
Yeah.
age is specific to deferral, but the QTAV is for all 3 programs currently.
Good application, which I think is,
So you're gonna, you may have a few people fall into the credit.
yeah,
How much would that be? We don't know. But, I think even if you try, I think if you tried to move it to 750, that's gonna fail.
like you feel like that's too much of a jump?
I know it's been 12, 13 years, but I think that will
wait,
that will fail.
700?
Yeah, I just, there's a feeling, I'm sure, that people say, well, if you have over $650,000, you can afford to pay your taxes.
Hmm.
You should be taking money out to pay your taxes if you need to, out of your, whatever it is, your savings, your IRA or whatever you have, your stocks.
Do you feel like it should stay as is, Mark?
No, I backed up at moving up back in 2016, 17, whenever we were discussing it last. We threw around a lot of numbers. Trust me, we threw over $700,000. we settled at 682,500. But like I said, it never got out of the LNA.
But even if you increased it 1% a year for 8 years, that'd bring me to 703.
So I guess I understand what, I feel like our percentage and annual increase, I understand what Mark's saying. I don't know if it's as relevant because he's saying no matter what that cost of living increase is, if your threshold, if your funds are at a certain point,
Yeah,
you
then
really
you should be
count
paying
as
taxes. You know.
yeah. So, so if we can back away from,
So then the number is pretty arbitrary. It's like not based on, it's not pegged to the
Mhm.
cost of living or,
Right.
It's pegged to our pool of people and who would qualify, really. And we don't have the data on that because people don't have to disclose it.
right. So Mark, you were suggesting a couple of meetings ago that maybe we don't want to tackle too many changes.
Yeah.
And so should we leave that alone and just go with the other two changes?
I personally, I think that probably would be our best plan right now. I mean, we have another, year after this that we could really dig into that QTAV part of this committee. So we could really dig in and kind of figure out what it could be tied to, where it should land. Because I think there'll be a lot of pushback on, well, why are you making it 703 or 682,500? What grounds do you have? And I'm not sure we have, well, because it has been increased since 2012 is not going to be the answer, right?
Right.
What is the answer? Well, people living longer, they're maybe saving a little more because they're living longer. They want to make their money last as long as they're alive.
And we want to keep them in Fairfield.
And we want to keep them in Fairfield. But I look back at the notes actually during our last meeting, and I know there was a comment made about if people have $600,000, $700,000, whatever in the bank or in their portfolio, they should be able to pay their taxes in Fairfield. I'm not saying I agree with that, but I mean, not if it's supposed to last you for
30 years.
30, 20, 10, even 10, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess depending on what your taxes are, what your lifestyle is, whether you need to buy a new car, put on a new roof, medical bills, whatever happens to you.
Medical bill waiver
Right.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think medical bills is the thing that everybody keeps their nest egg for.
So I know, my parents sold their house in Long Island and, they got good money for it. But at the end of the day, that money all got spent on my mother's, medical bills and nursing home. And
Yeah.
it basically drains, it drains you, right? But, then they're not in the house, right? So then that's a whole nother story. So then they're not eligible for senior tax relief, right?
Yeah.
When they're in a nursing home. But if you're in and out, you're in. Like my mother was in, then she was out, then she was, back home, then she was, she was living here. My mother and father both were living here with us. But the in and out of the homes for whatever reason, they get an infection, they're at Bridgeport Hospital, and they're in rehab, and then they're back home again. But she didn't own the house, so we own the house. But if she did own the house,
yeah.
but yeah, once you're permanently in the assisted living or wherever you are, then it all goes kind of.
We have no data on the 9 people who got clipped out of this thing because they had too much money. I mean, I wonder if they were like, just missed it. I got 690, and that's too much. I needed any lower? You know, like, are they just missing this threshold, or are they just like wildly, you know, I'd love to see that data and see if they were just missing it.
What
And
if-
I do feel like we have to do something. I mean, even if it's a nominal raise, even if we go with 682.50 or round it to 700, I think we should do at least something. It is 13 years.
Okay,
I think the trepidation is that we don't really know what the logic is, so we're a little shy to do an increase because we have no good foundational logic to say, other than to say, hey guys, it's been 13 years. I mean, the number's got to go up. So we just pegged 700, we pegged a higher number,
I don't have the data in front of me, but does anyone recall what surrounding communities like Westport or Norwalk, New Canaan, like where they are?
I have that spreadsheet open, but I don't see that data.
Or I'd be curious to see how other towns increase year over year or in their time span.
I believe Westport's program works a little differently than ours. You can have part credit, part deferral, you have a combo of the programs where we don't have that here.
Okay,
I can't be, if Sharon has the data there.
but I meant they're like their
I
max.
don't remember what their, I don't recall what their
Yeah, West,
maybe is based on, if it's based on their home or if it's based on
it's based on income.
income only.
Yeah, so the notes that I have for these other towns, like it pretty much says. Although like we didn't collect QTAV specifically. When I went through all the websites, I tried to glean whatever was there. I could go back and take a look, but. It's like the notes are all based on income and not based on QTAV.
And then I guess maybe that question could be, why is our model different then? Or does it make, like how did we establish that baseline, that dollar amount, that 650?
That I don't know. I wasn't
So-
wasn't around back then while I was here, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
Well, so Weston has applicant's household income must be under 125 with a net worth ceiling of 1 million for abatement.
Because I mean, we do live in a very affluent community, so we want to recognize we don't necessarily want people to have to leave. I guess we want to make sure we're not keeping things so low when people are in need, and want to be able to age in place. I think that's going to be a concept that we see more of in the coming decades. So we just want to, I guess, not keep that maybe low enough that forces certain people who would need or would need need assistance in that age group and that demographic. We don't necessarily want them to have to leave Fairfield for that when they're not going to a nursing home, when they're just to leave the community. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see QTAV data.
I do feel, I guess I understand, Dave, that it makes sense that we don't want to necessarily push it off another year, but I feel like maybe we could figure out a better way to get to a figure, to get to a number. I feel like anything we do right now might be a little bit rushed or without backing, maybe for presenting the figure.
What if we just asked? Oh yeah, is that ours?
yeah, that's ours.
Yeah. So what if we just said 675 and just say, listen, we want to make a change and see what 25,000 does in terms of the number of people additional that make it into the program.
I
We
like
know it's
that.
not gonna be a ton, but we just wanna give, have a litmus test.
I think that makes a lot of sense, to kind of gauge, without a big change. We're already having additional change, like minor changes, right? Just the age, so
Age and
on the spouse, right? Or the,
and not the,
Deferral, 65.
yeah.
I mean, I think I have a process question, like, would we, as our subcommittee, would we make a motion for each one of these items so that two might be able to pass and if one fails, so we would want to submit three separate agenda items, motions to be considered for the Board of Finance to consider. So yeah, then I would be, I mean, let's try to move it to 675. What do you think about that, Dave? Rather than doing nothing, and rather than, going up to 7 and having it maybe more easily shot down.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you guys that something's better than nothing. I was just hoping for something a little bit more than 675. I'd like to see a 700 at least. Because that's over the 680, 250, I kind of feel like, and that was back in 2017. But then again, that did get shot down. And we don't know why, right? So it could have been the number was too high, or it just, died because it had no gas, or nobody knew what to tie it to, or what the logic was, or whatever. So you know, I feel like I have no idea land,
I
But
like
it-
Sharon's idea about getting a sense on how much things change with like a smaller dollar amount initially. If we were to open up, say to like 750, that 100,000, we don't know quite what we'd be getting into, but it also will give us a better sense of how many people are kind of close. Like you said, those 9 people that dropped off, like, are they that close, or, will it open up a larger pool? So I think
Yeah, I
that,
mean, we can also think of two-stepping it, right? We can do a number this year and a number next year, right? So if everybody's down with maybe two-stepping it, and we do the 675, like Sharon was saying, and we've done at least something, and then we can round out our logic for the final step.
Okay.
I like that thought
Mark,
process.
you like that or no?
I mean, I'm sure, I just, Sharon's gonna have to present it. and,
Yeah.
I just know from the past, if you don't have, good reasoning, or that it's not gonna fly, and it's gotta go to the Board of Finance first, and they'll tear it apart.
Mm.
I mean, I can already see the first questions out of certain people's mouths. Why do we need to do that?
Because 9 people were unable to qualify for the program.
Well, Chris, they have over $650,000 in their portfolio. They should be able to afford paying taxes.
But if I also feel like
I'm playing devil's advocate.
yeah,
I'm just-
I know,
Oh,
Mark,
yeah,
I
yeah,
know, I
no,
know.
yeah,
I know
we
you were
know.
for 682, so, but I guess I also feel like it would be difficult for someone not to recognize that a dollar amount that was in place 13 years ago should be the same dollar amount in place today, right? I feel like that says a lot. It doesn't have to be a significant number change, but just to recognize that 650 13 years ago is not the same as 650 in 20.
What was 650? What is 650 today? I mean, what is 650? How $650,000 worth today in today's dollars from 2012?
7, it's like 800.
Which is more than that.
Yeah. Time value
I know, I don't know.
equation,
If I Google that.
going back to college.
Which is $1 million.
Yeah, at 2.5, it's almost 900.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At 1%, it's like 740.
So I have no idea what.
yeah, no, I did the math. Remember, I did the math. If you increased it 1% from 2012 to now
And compounded it.
and compounded it, right?
Yep.
Oh, whoops, hold on. My Excel's not smart enough.
Anyway, I think that the bump up from 650 to 675 is very modest, it's very reasonable, it's very justifiable. And I have a lot of faith in Sharon being able to go in there into the den and-
Thanks, Chris.
and fight for a little committee here and come out with a big W.
What is the process in there, Sharon? You'd have to go in, you'd have to say a number, and then they're gonna slice and dice you. Are they able to then turn around and suggest a number, or they just have to fall back to, is it a yes, no on your number? What's the action like?
Yes and no, they could cut it. They could say, well, you guys are totally wrong. It should be 900,000, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
They can tweak our
Devil's
number.
advocate, Mark.
So they have the power to tweak it, sort of like RTM, you can't take any, you can only vote something down, you can't add or change. But so they can change, right? They can do whatever they
The
want.
setup right now, the recommendation, I mean, we can present what we feel to the Board of Finance or the Board of Finance Senior Tax Relief Committee, and they present it to the Board of Finance or whatever, and they have to recommend it back to the RTM. So they could say, no, 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 or yes, that sounds good, 65 age, good. Yes, nobody's in that program. Why don't we just get rid of it? We don't need to manage that anymore. And let's do 700, or let's leave it as it is. So-
Right.
And then they would send it back to they change the language in the ordinance, send it back to us, and then the RTM, then it would have to go through L&A, and then we would have to, for 2 months, sit there, and then full RTM would approve or not approve.
Mm.
I mean, it's a pretty drawn-out process.
All right, so where are we? What do we do?
Okay, so
I think if you presented it as, $650,000 in 2012 was this, and today it's whatever, but we're looking for a nominal increase to say 675 to see if we can continue to pull more. I mean, the goal is to keep people in Fairfield and have more participants. Our participants have dropped, you'd have to go through where we were and where we are today. It's dropped significantly. The participation in the program. I know when I was knocking on doors, I had, I think there's one couple, they were like, $5,000 over the income limit. They were in the program. She made a little more money and then they were out of the program.
Yeah.
$5,000 more isn't a heck of a lot of money, but
yeah, and that money went all towards the taxes.
especially when your cable bill's $300 a month, this 3,600 of it, your cable and internet bill.
I'm gonna try to share something. I've never done that before. I'm wondering if I can do it. Oh
Yeah.
gosh.
You can do it.
Okay. It's not gonna let me do it.
You
Can
can,
share?
I hit share, but now I'm getting, oh, wait.
Hit your share button.
Yeah. you hit that, like the third little button over.
Yeah, but now I'm trying to,
Mine's right in the middle, and then you got to pick the file. There
Can
you
you
go.
guys see that?
Yep.
Nice.
So, I mean, this is just a dumb spreadsheet, right? And it's
Yeah.
got your years on the side, and it's got this column C right here. I don't know if you guys see this. See
Yeah.
that? That's a 5% increase every 4 years. That gets you down to the 752. And then this is a 2%, 2.5% column right here. I see that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what if we ran it all the way out, that's the 874 at the bottom. And then here's a 1% column, this last one over here. And that's just increasing at 1% every single year since 2012, and that'll get you to the 732. So, it's sort of like we can put more and more columns.
I got 739, 761. Why did they get a slightly
The
different
same,
time?
same ending year.
Is that what you got?
20, he's doing 2025.
Getting something different, Sharon. Because I did.
That's weird. So 9696 676 392. The last 3 years, mine is a little different than yours.
Uh-oh.
703 857, yeah. 710 895, yes. 17004. Oh, I brought it to 2025. Yeah, you did too.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Wait.
But would I guess it comes back to, do we want to put a number that large,
Well, we're just gonna show them the number just to say like,
to offset, to like recognize why a modest 25,000?
yeah, like, okay, it's still a dartboard.
Perfect, great.
Yeah, for some reason, my 2024 says 732, 436. Oh,
Hmm.
I know why. Because, no. Just send me that, Dave, and I'll use yours. Are you guys cool with this?
Okay.
Yeah, or you can run it again on it.
Mine's just a tiny bit
Starting.
off. I don't know why. But I did
Okay.
it all day in my defense, so.
I'm using the Russian version of Excel.
It's like the meteorologist. It says, what
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
model are you using here?
I'm seriously like, I must have like a typo somewhere or something.
Yeah, I was thinking, or maybe
I
it
don't know
started,
how.
like pulling from a different cell or something, right?
Oh, it could be me, Sharon. Don't think it's you. It could definitely be me.
I mean, it's just multiplying it by 1.01 all the way down.
Yeah, yeah, all the way down. It's just a rip.
Some fuzzy math.
I don't know.
Fake math.
We're off by like $1,000 or something. Either way, so we're gonna use that. We're gonna use Dave's. Okay, so here's what I have. I guess I'd have to log on to the meeting to share screens, right? Let me do that.
I'm going to stop sharing this and you can see my face again.
WebEx. Hold on a sec. It's kind of creepy. Now weather.com came up.
Oh, because I said meteorologist. It's
Seriously.
big brother, I tell you.
Okay. Join a meeting. What's the meeting number?
Yes.
Hang on. Edit. Carpenter. I got it.
Yeah.
Oh no. Doesn't like the spaces, huh?
I didn't do spaces, yeah. Even though if you were to copy and paste, it'd be there, but
Open. Open. Okay, so here's the thing, join a meeting. Okay, let's hope I don't. Can you guys? Okay, cool. All right, so I think I'm gonna show you what I have, and it's just like a draft. It's not formatted, but I've been making a PowerPoint like while we're keep sitting here. Because I do consulting for a living. All right, hold on. And I usually stink at PowerPoints, but now all of a sudden I'm some kind of genius. Okay. Tell me if you can, yeah, you guys can see, right?
Yep.
Okay, so the first thing is that we're gonna change the deferral age from 75 to 65 to align with other towns. And the math that I have on that original spreadsheet that I have from April. This is where we went through all the other towns.
Mhm.
At the end, on the deferral, where I have deferral, yes, over here, 80% of the towns that we surveyed use 65. And then it also makes it consistent with the credit age.
Right.
So I'll add that. Okay, so we're cool with that.
Mhm.
And then here's my little data point, which I'll make look nice, but that's just so that we have this as a document of our voting item. We're cool with that?
Yep.
Any changes, any comments? No?
No,
David, Mark, any comments on slide 1?
No,
Okay, slide 2. Eliminate the freeze program because no one's using it. Uh, Relieve administrative burden. And then Ross said also that like it wasn't a good financial idea anyway.
Okay.
We wrote down why it wasn't beneficial.
Forget.
Ask Ross.
I have to reference it.
Cool. He said it's because like at the end, like the amount of money that you would owe at the end, you're better off
Really
taking
good.
the credit
yeah, I think the
than
other
freezing it, still
programs-
owning it.
the other programs are more appropriate. But
Oh, so it kind of screws the participant in it, like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's not, no one's using
Any
it.
other comments on this?
I don't have any.
Dave, Mark?
Nope.
nope.
Okay. And then we're gonna,
Sharon, I sent you my my spreadsheet. I texted it to you. I can send it via email if you need that.
yeah, I'm not gonna open my text right now.
Okay.
Good to
On
see
a
that.
shared
Keep that.
recorded screen.
Yeah.
I like you guys, but I don't want the general public to see what's on it. Okay. Okay, wait. Mark, you just put something in the comments that I have to pick up. Where is it? How do I get to what you put in the comments?
Maybe go down to chat.
Oh. Oh yeah, could you email that to me? Oh wait, I'll just put it in, I can copy and put it in Excel. Oh, that's weird. It's not copying.
Hmm.
Oh, am I not allowed to copy from a WebEx chat? Do you mind just emailing that to me? I'm sorry. All right, so I'm gonna insert your spreadsheet here, and then the point is that like even if you modeled out an increase of 1% a year,
Sorry, I was on mute. Sharon, your numbers are correct in your spreadsheet.
they are?
Yeah, 739 is 2025. 739, 760, 63. I just put it in the chat because I did a quick spreadsheet.
Okay, cool.
Right, you got 739, yeah, that's right.
And I liked having Dave's 2.5% COLA and the 1%, like, even if it's super, moderate like that or minimal, just to have that comparison. I think it was good to have both of them alongside.
Yeah,
Okay, so Dave, you'll send me that?
Yep.
But I think he was saying that your numbers were right.
Well, he agrees with my math, but
Okay.
I'll just make
Use
sure
this
that
one.
it
Okay.
fits.
Okay.
Okay, are there any other comments here?
I can't read it, so I.
But we'd like to make an incremental increase to see if more other people, that's not even English, more other people would qualify. More people.
Either you get rid of other or more, but not both of them.
Yeah, more.
Or
You could write more
What?
seniors.
Maybe you could change people to seniors.
Or more applicants or more seniors, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, applicants maybe. A little more applicants. No.
They weren't potential applicants, they were applicants.
Yeah,
Did they actually apply?
I don't know.
but also I don't necessarily think, like, even though that's a very good point, that's not like the main reason why we're increasing this figure. Are those 9 people? We don't want the board to think that it's based on getting these 9 people back in the program or anything. It's just in general over the last, over a decade of maintaining and losing participation, So if we do that kind of modest increase, we can assess
didn't,
how the program is affected.
Hey, Sharon, you were correct. In my brilliance, I left out the year 2016.
Yeah, if you look at the chat, Dave, I did the numbers and it's.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sharon's right. I am
She
the
had
wrong,
it correct in hers.
I am the wrong person here.
I thought I left a year out. That's why I was checking.
Yeah, no, it was all me.
Don't worry, I got you all, I triple checked it.
Okay. I'll send that spreadsheet anyway, that now I revised one to you via email,
Yep.
if you want to do whatever.
Yeah, you should fix that, and because you gotta add the other, then fix the other 2 columns too, so you got.
Yeah, so I'll add the columns. I'll add the 5% every 4 years and the 2.5% COLA.
Mhm.
yeah.
And then, so I think if we vote on these changes, then what I can do is if I email you guys individually, serially for your comments on the PowerPoint, like, unfortunately, it's probably gonna have to be over the weekend for me because I have a really, really busy work week this week.
Yeah.
And then if I just text you individually and just ask you to go in and make comments, would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mark and Dave?
Yep. totally.
Yes.
Okay, cool. But
Didn't hear my brains rattling when I,
The whole text.
yeah, from here.
No, on the third point, is that it? That's 3, okay. And, okay, I mean, to Christine's point, we're kind of focused on the 9 applicants, but I mean, our goal is to make, well, it's not our goal, I guess it's the goal of the senior and disabled tax relief program is to assist residents, hopefully allow them to stay in town. Make it easier for them to stay in Fairfield, I think, so. This would help, we believe this would further that cause or further that goal.
Yeah, and maybe we can like, in the prior to even saying that change in the age, just kind of give that brief overview of the decreased participation in the program over the last several years. And
Yeah.
how we're looking to increase participation, so we're intentionally making these changes. We're not trying to cut people because we don't have the funds or.
Right.
And maybe we don't necessarily call out 9 applicants, we can just say numerous applicants, applied, but unfortunately didn't qualify. Or I just feel like we can absolutely keep it, it just seems like, it doesn't seem like a significant number in my mind.
Right, but that's what we want to advertise because the Board of Finance is gonna come back to us and say they
What?
don't want like a ton more people all at once to qualify.
Okay, that makes sense. Yep. Okay, so it kind of goes both ways. So it's not significant enough to cause concern for a burden on the town. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so do we have to vote on these items individually?
I think because it's a special meeting and we said that we are gonna vote on changes to the program and it's one item. I think we have to agree on these 3 items, but one of the things that we're agreeing on is that when we present it to the Board of Finance, we're gonna break it out.
Okay. All right,
Yeah, because I agree. I want to make sure, we want to make sure it's
so is there,
individualized.
do we need a motion right now to vote on these 3 items? Or to vote on these changes?
Yes.
Okay, so, it's okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve items 1, 2, and 3 as revisions to the, as suggested revisions to the program.
Okay, great. And for the benefit of the public, I've just showed you what these are on the screen, which is being recorded. So we have changed the deferral age from 75 to 65 to align with other towns. And then it also aligns with the qualifying age for credit. And then the second item is to eliminate the freeze program because no one is using it. And we want to be able to relieve administrative burden. And then our intention is also to let the Board of Finance know why it's not financially, why it's not a beneficial program. And we do have the details on that, which we're going to add to our presentation. And then 3 would be a nominal increase to QTAV from 650 to 675. Okay, so do we have a second on that?
Second?
Okay, great. Is there any discussion? So I just want to mention in the discussion, so we've agreed that when we propose these, we're going to propose them as 3 separate items. I'll just say that for the record.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Aye. Item passes unanimously. All right, great. Okay, so because this is a special meeting, there's no new business. So can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All right. Wait, was that Mark or Dave? I couldn't hear.
That was Dave.
Okay, so it's, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 It's 8:47.